I'm relatively certain that my wife is trying to sabotage my weight loss efforts.
No.
I'm a 39-year-old male. I've been married to my wife, 38 female, for over 10 years. We also have a 6-year-old daughter. Throughout most of our adult lives, we've been very overweight. At my heaviest, I weighed over 450 pounds. I don't want to disclose my wife's weight. It wasn't as high as mine, but it was definitely high. It did make day-to-day life more challenging, but we persisted. A couple of years ago, I was diagnosed with T2 diabetes, and I suspected that it was caused by my excessive weight. My wife told me in the past that my weight affected her feelings for me, which annoyed me because she was also heavy. So I finally decided to take action. Over the last 2 years, I've lost over 200 pounds. I've tracked calories, started running, and joined a gym. I've worked really hard to drop the weight, meal prep at home, and exercise when my wife is at work and my daughter is at school. My wife has also tried to lose weight. She doesn't want to join a gym, but she's been open to healthier eating, which I've tried to help her with. In the same period of time, she lost around 30 pounds. I can definitely see a difference, but people notice my loss more. I try not to fixate on it though. I didn't think it was an issue for her, but some recent events have me wondering if it's bothering her more than I realized. I still want to lose another 30 pounds, so I continue to train and track calories, but my wife has decided that I'm done. When I get my app out to calculate, she'll comment, "Why are you still doing that? You're not tracking anymore, are you?" I've never told her that I was finished. She just arbitrarily decided this for herself. She'll also make comments when I exercise. I've worked hard to set a routine, and it bugs me that I can't always keep it up because of her distractions. I've been plateauing since Christmas, and I can't figure out why. The last few weeks, our work schedules have been a bit askew, so my wife has done more cooking than me. It wasn't until we cooked together the other night that I noticed something. We were making curry, which we usually make healthier, but this time it was anything but. She added full, fat coconut milk, glugs of oil, tablespoons of peanut butter, cream, and sugar. Then she gave me a massive portion. Later, I rifled through the bin and found loads of wrappers and tins to suggest that the food came from a non-health store. The only logical conclusion is that she's trying to stop me from losing more weight. I don't understand why she has an issue with it. I try to make her feel beautiful and give her lots of attention, but I honestly don't know how I can move past this.
Classic enabling. The wife, anyways, is feeling threatened by his getting too healthy and trying to kind of bring the scales back up into her territory, which of course is not a healthy thing. But it's not unusual. This happens a lot in relationships, unfortunately, on a lot of different levels. Not just eating, but like when you feel that maybe your partner's advancing, you want to feel maybe a little threatened.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, the question is, what is the greater risk here? Not being physically healthy or not being in a healthy relationship? I would say the physical is probably more dangerous. But yeah, more often than not, sabotage comes from fear rather than malice. Because, when OP's wife cooks him food with high fat and criticizes his working out, it's a sign that she's afraid of the change with him. I mean, she's afraid of losing her connection with him. And she's insecure about how she looks and worries that the better shape he gets in, the more he'll find her unattractive.
Precisely.
So for him, he should probably address the fear beneath this behavior, not just the behavior itself. He could say something like, "This journey is about my health and me being able to be here longer with you. When you undermine my efforts, it hurts. I just need support, not resistance." Something like that.
You're right. I mean, you nailed it. Communication. When you see that you're being undermined, you need to point it out in a gentle way. And clearly she's trying to balance the scales, feels threatened, but in the long run, like you say, without health, you have nothing. She may not have a husband in the next few years if they both continue on this path. So you've got to look at the big picture and not feel threatened by his path. As a wife, you have to be supportive, and as a husband, you have to be supportive. It works both ways. So Yeah. Now, interesting scenario though. I've seen this played out right down the street from us as well with this couple that have been married quite a long time. The wife is clearly she's pre-diabetic, and he keeps on feeding her cookies and ice cream. And I'm not even it's mind-boggling to see this because out of love, I guess he's trying to bring her comfort, but it's a very short-term fix, and we see it playing out on a regular basis. And she's barely able to walk across the street now, and they're elderly, but these patterns are persisting. They're not breaking them, and when you see that, it just it does kind of hurt you to see people that you really admire and respect not taking the best path in life.
I feel like there's a term for that. Isn't it called being a feeder? Like where you feed someone like too much?
Sure. Yeah, or enabling as well, just enabling somebody to take the wrong path. And you don't even consciously realize what you're doing. It's more of a subconscious thing. You fall into these patterns, and it's really difficult to break out of the pattern unless, and they know. I mean, they've been to the doctor numerous times. Her leg is close to being amputated, but the behavior continues, and that's what's really difficult sometimes to process. When you see people doing this same thing over and over again, the risk is there, but it's not being mitigated.
When our loved ones sabotage our efforts, that's probably the most painful experience. I've actually had this happen to me. Years ago, a girlfriend would promise to help me finish projects, and then she would wait till the last minute to get started. And very often I missed the deadlines. She was very skilled at many different things, so she could accomplish these goals if she just set aside some time to do so. What I recognize now is that it was a sign that something was out of alignment with our relationship. We obviously weren't in sync, and this incident, or these continued incidents, is just the way that it manifested. Each one of us have to take responsibility for our own health. He should decide what he eats and how he trains, and if he wants to share the meal prep with his wife. But if it continues to be an issue, then he has to figure out where he's going to go from here. How is he going to get into a healthier place? Someone said, wait, you are diabetic and she's adding sugar and fat and lots of oils to your food? She's actively trying to harm you.
Food can be a poison, the slowest poison, or the best medicine, depending on your choices. And when you are living with somebody that's actively, feeding you poison, you have to really take a step back and say, wait a minute, what's going on here?
One other comment is you need to explain to her that these changes aren't a temporary thing and that this is a permanent new lifestyle for you. My guess is she's feeling jealous of this new healthier you, and she's probably feeling threatened by your happiness. And again, that's just unfortunate if that's the case, because I could tell you that the best people in our lives are the ones who want the best for you, and they want you to feel happy and fulfilled. And they do things like you do to help support my efforts. You're always there when I turn to you. That's the sign of like love and friendship. And so we would expect that to be at the highest level with our partner.
It's ironic though, sometimes, people that you love and that you're, cohabitating with, many times they don't even realize, what they're doing. They just get into these habit patterns that are not healthy. It does take somebody with a higher level of consciousness to just step back and say, wait, what's going on here? Yeah, hopefully that is rectified, because this is a problem throughout our society, especially in America. The fast food epidemic is still very, very much a problem. Unfortunately, it happens more than it doesn't. And this is where we really need to raise our consciousness when it comes to what we're consuming.
Well said.
We're gonna